I think I wish I was more delusional, more ignorant.
What are you awake for?
Nothing.
I'm up just thinking about life.
What is there to think about at that time?
Everything bad that's ever happened to me.
Instead of overthinking and rationalizing, trying to understand everything that happens in my life. I think certain situations don't require deep thought or deep meaning. Sometimes things is what it is. And I envy some certain people who can take very complex issues and just simplify it for themselves. And not saying that these people are dumb, not saying these people are ignorant. This is the way they're able to compartmentalize what happened and keep pushing on. Now, can that be dangerous in retrospect because you never really learn from your mistakes? You never really recognize what really happened and not able to grow so you don't happen to you again? Possibly. But the idea of able to hone in on what happened and when it is lost or is no longer, the ability to move on and not stress about it, right? I think one of the key components of overthinker is that you overthink so much, your head hurts. You over analyze and you get nowhere, right? And you're still lost and you still don't have answers and you're still trying to figure out what was I mad in the first place? What is this? I just feel like we spend so much time wondering why things is what it is instead of letting things be what it is. Instead of letting things flow.
Flow. Come.
Right? We don't need to understand everything. We don't need to have the concepts of everything, especially when it comes to relationships and people or situations or why your life is what it is. Sometimes things happen. And I think it's hard to live in that world where sometimes things just happen. Because we can't tell the difference between deep meaning or when things happen. Because you could put meaning on anything. You could put deep meaning on literally any aspect of your life when sometimes it don't need to be. And I guess my question would be, when do we separate the two? And I know you can tell depending on certain situations and outcomes, etc. But the idea of saying, you know what, I'm not going to overthink this. I'm not going to kill myself trying to figure this thing out. It can put a real easy flow into it. Like you can be very relaxed and very calm moving through life, right? But it's also dangerous because then if you move too calm through life, if you're moving too like not thinking about anything, then things are just happening and you're not recognizing the tides turn. You're not recognizing when you're not improving and life can just pass you by, and next thing you know, 20 years later, you're still in the same position, or you're still in the same mindset, or you're still making the same mistakes and you're not recognizing how to do it. Now, there are people that recognize their issues all the time and they recognize what's going on with them all the time, but they never really do anything about it. Right? They just vent about it and then they feel like it's okay. No action behind the words they're saying to move on and move past these situations. And to be honest, I just feel like I'm stuck in between the two. Sometimes I take action on things, sometimes I don't. Sometimes I just complain about it and I don't do anything. And sometimes I make it to it and I flow through it. I just wish I was more flowing through it, just kind of let life be life, right? And just taking in everything and recognizing what it is for what it is and letting some of this stuff go that stagnates me. And that's still a process of just trying to figure out how to do that. Because it seems like that when I hold on to things I don't need to hold on to, it stagnates me in life. Or I look back and try to figure out why it was like that, or look for some representation for people to help me, or look back at the people that wronged me and see why they did it and how their life's going. Did they recognize it? All these things that we don't need to overanalyze. All these things that we need to leave in the past. All these things that's never gonna, it doesn't bring meaning to your life in any significant way anymore, like it used to. And the only thing that's keeping it afloat is in here, us, in our heart, and our mind, where it needed to die years ago. Where that situation, that person needed to die in your mind months ago. And that's what I mean by being ignorant to it. Being delusional to your life a little bit. Leaning into more of that ignorance and just saying, fuck it, it is what it is,
But wait, there's more.
This is another thing I wanted to add to the video. I wanted to add this to the video because it's important. Another thing, the reason why I want to be ignorant, a little bit of delusional about my life, is because I don't want to be the person that overthinks a relationship and the other person wasn't overthinking the relationship. Meaning like the person wasn't thinking about the relationship, how important and empathic it was to me, but it wasn't important and impactful to them in the same way. Now, I want to be important to people. And that's a problematic statement because you should only be important to yourself. It'd be nice to be important to people, but everybody's interpretation, what's important to them, is different. You know, I don't want to overthink relationships. I don't want to be overly like trying to symbolize certain things, what this mean, and looking at social media and seeing if that person's still doing well without me, all these things, instead of just letting it be. Being delusional in the mindset of thinking that, hey, they'll never find nobody better than me. You know, they out there still trying to find somebody like me right now. Instead of thinking that they're doing better or it look like they're doing better or it was all my fault. That overthinking stuff gets you nowhere besides stagnant and sometimes put you in a depressive state because you think less of yourself. And nobody want to think less of themselves, because that sucks when you start thinking less of yourself. But I understand. You don't want to feel like you didn't mean nothing to that person. You know, my best guess is you met something, you was in their life for a while. And if you wasn't, you know, who cares? They're not that important to you. The only person that's important to your life is you in your life. Yeah, you're the only person that's important in your life, really, if you think about it. Not even your parents. Because you gotta be the one that live here. You know, your parents are the one that brought you here against your will anywhere.